Hello, welcome back to the Atomix project. For this next little bit, I ended up with about 3 hours of video getting the display lines to work, being able to click on them so that we could then do the movement, then determining the win condition. I tried to edit out as much cruft as I could, and believe me, there was like half an hour has ended up on the cutting room floor, but it still left me with a really long video. So what I ended up doing was I ended up splitting it into separate parts, of which this is one. So the next 3 or 4 videos are actually the big long video, but once we get to the win condition, that's it. That's the end of this smaller subsequence of videos. So check out the playlist above, which should be above my head somewhere, for the other videos in this series. But without further ado, let's get started. Quick couple of announcements before we actually get to the code. First thing is, this book is still available, Python Pygame, Raspberry Pi game development, and A-Press asked me if I wanted to get involved in writing another book, and I said yes. And so here's the other one, which is Unity Networking Fundamentals, so creating multiplayer games within Unity. I wrote the first half of this book. I actually co-wrote it with Kajendra, and he wrote the rest of the book. But yeah, I'm super happy with it. I did a couple of examples at the start, so it's all about TCP connections in C#, how to sort of get a weather app, and then there's a tic-tac-toe game in there as well, and then later on in the book it shows you how to create a maze game. But yeah, it's all in here. It's not particularly thick, but it covers quite a lot of ground. But yeah, this is out now. Link will be in the show notes below. Thanks. The way that KP Atomix does it is they have this test grid, and they join everything, and then replace all the hashes with dots, and then they check to see if the molecule exists inside here. Now, we can try that, but we need to create our test grid first of all. We need to be able to set those values. So I'm going to create a class to do that, just to make it a little bit easier, and then we can check to see if there's a solution to it. So I'm going to go ahead and do that just now. Where are we? Scripts Atomix game, and then we're going to have here as our grid tester. Grid tester. Okay, and I'm just going to make it a plain old class. And then I'm going to have public grid tester, and that's going to be rows, private string rows equals array dot copy. Oh, we just need to do array dot copy, and then we've got our source array, which is rows, and our destination array, which is rows. Rows dot length. So we're copying that across there. Then what we want to do is we want to be able to move particular items. So it's got to be from one position to another. Now, I think what we can do is we can probably get away with just passing in the tag and then finding it in there, and then moving it. So we need to have public void move piece, and then the piece is going to be string tag vector 3 new position. Okay, and then we want to say public bool is solution. String molecule. We can actually pass that in here, can't we? Molecule, and since we're not altering molecule, we can just copy that across. We can say private string molecule molecule equals molecule. Because this array here, we need to copy across because we don't want to change the one that we bring in. I mean, to be honest, we're going to be reloading the game anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But that's what we're going to do. And then I'm just going to say true for that just now, and then we'll fill that in later. To do fill. Actually, let's just do that just now, because then it's done. So their example, they say they've got this here. So we want to say var grid, let's call it test grid, equals rows dot, actually it's going to be string dot join, and then the separator is going to be that, and then the object is going to be rows, and then we have var regex equals new regex, regex dot replace, and then we're going to do slash that slash g comma, I think I can just do a string here, yeah, dot oh yeah, we need to pass in the string, don't we? Test grid. Oh no, hold on. My bad. We take this, put that in there, take that out, put that there, put that there, that gives us that. Okay, so that is that line there. And then we want to check to see if that exists. We want to say return regex index is match, and then the input, can we pass in, see that's the thing, is we can't pass in that string. So our molecule, which is going to be this, our molecule is an array. So let me see how that handles it. This is from JavaScript, this is from KP Atomics. Some time has passed, as you probably noticed. Okay, so we're at this point here, so we want to replace that there. I'm just going to comment this out just now and just return true. Return false, sorry, because I don't want it to be -1 there. I don't want it to be negative, but I do want to be able to move this piece. So the new position is based on the grid position, and when we build the grid, the file loader, the grid is just based off on where are we? Let's go up to here. That's basically this point here is basically 0, 0, and then this point here is x along and y down. And that's how we've done everything. So I think we're going to do the exact same thing with this one. So let's find out. We need to know what the tag is, and then move it. So for example, if we move 3 to here, we need to be able to move this one to here. So that new position is going to be our x and y position, and we need to know the old position. Now what we could do is we could just cheat and say this is the new position, and then pass in that old position, but I think what we can do is we can just find it, and then that way we just know where it is. So we can do var grid equals string dot join rows, var index equals grid dot index of tag, and then we know how many columns there are, because we can say var columns equal rows 0 dot length. If rows dot length equals 0 or rows 0 dot length equals 0, return. Just early out, don't bother checking. And then the index of that is there, and then we want to say var x equals index, and then your x is going to be the value, sorry, your x is going to be the value of index mod columns. So it's going to go from 0 to number of columns minus 1. And then your y is going to be your index divided by the number of columns, because that gets you the number of rows. And now what we want to say is var x equals, we want to say x equals x plus new position dot x, but we need to convert that to an integer. And we want to say y equals y plus x int new position dot y. Okay. Now we need to change the value of that row, that the old value. So let's change that to var new x, var new y, and then we want to say so y is going to give us our row value. So we're going to our actual row is, oh, we can't change the array though. No, we can't change the array. Shoot. I mean, this is all very clever, but we can't change the array. So I can't do rows 0 equals that. Or can I? Let's say var new row, or old row, equals rows y, rows y, I don't know if this is going to work. X equals dot. Yeah, I didn't think that was going to work. That'd have been nice if it did work. So strings can't change, so we need to reconstruct a new string. If I do string, I can't remember how strings work in C#. String equals 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. S dot. Oh, okay. I could do insert. I can do replace. There you go. That'll work. So old row dot replace, and then it's going to be the old char, which is going to be tag 0, because we're only ever going to pass in a single character. Then we're going to replace that with a dot, because that's what a blank space is. So that's the easy one. So that's replace current piece position. So that's going to replace that. The next one's going to be a bit tricky, because what we want to do is we want to say, okay, move it to that new position. So that's our old one. Replace that one. Okay, so that's fine. The new one is going to be slightly tricky, because then we need to get that new X in there. Rows dot remove, and we get to that. But I'm wondering if we should make that a list, because that would make it easier. It's cheating, but it would make it easier. Let's make it a list. List string. It's not really cheating. I mean, it's, you know, whatever the code is. And in that way, what we can do is we can say rows equals new rows, rows, because we can pass in our enumerator into there, because you can do IEnumerable. So there you go, IEnumerable. So you're passing that in there, and then that fills in those values. So that would be count. It'll be fine, and then everything else should just work, because this takes IEnumerable as well. Okay. Now what we want to do is we want to say we want to set that value at the new x and new y. So we want to say var new row equals rows new y, var and then we want to set excuse me, sorry, we want to set at that new position that value, but we can't do new row 0 equals blah, because it won't let us do that, because strings are immutable. See, that's what that's saying there. So we can't set it that, but what we can do is we can use new row dot, and then we can split it, or we can do a substring, and that's going to get us the values to the left or the see, this is getting a little bit complicated. Just to set a value on the x and y, and the reason why we're doing that is so that it makes it easier to do the solution down here. Okay, well, let's cheat. I keep saying let's cheat. It's, again, it's coding, it's not cheating. It's as long as you get the right answer, it doesn't matter. So if I do string s equals that, and I say for int I equals 0, I less than rows new y dot length I plus plus, and I say if I equals new x, new row, oh, it would be new row, sorry, plus equals tag, because that's the tag that we're passing in, else new row plus equals rows new y I. And now what we want to say is we want to replace that value at that position. We want to replace that new row. So we want to say rows y equals new row. Oops, that would be new y. And we can simplify this as well, because we can say equals no, I can't do that. What am I doing? Okay, let's just leave it at that. Okay, and now what I'd like to do is I want to say public string current state return rows dot as array. Because what I want to do is I want to output this. Actually, string dot join it. Okay, because what I want to do is I want to have a debug that gives us the current state. So to do that, I'm going to go into our UI. Where's our UI? Level indicator. Okay. Where's our level indicator? Oh yeah, our level indicator is that. Okay, well we don't need that. What we do need is UI text mesh pro. Okay, well, we don't need that. Why is that under there? Is fade to black a canvas? Fade to black is a canvas. Let's create empty. No. UI canvas. Okay, we'll call this main UI, and we'll drag that under there, and screen space overlay, scale of that 450. What is this? I don't know what that is. Let's fade to black. Main UI. Okay. So I under 450, and then that's fine. Make that 0.5, and then we add UI text mesh pro, and we'll call this debug, and we'll throw it up here like so. So this should be visible up here, which is good. And then I'm going to choose. Oh, yeah, it's not gonna like that. Okay, let me find a mono font. Where are we? Fonts. Continued in the next video. Don't you hate it when people do that? Keep an eye out for the next part of this video, and it's going to be out next Thursday. I hope you've been enjoying this series so far. Thumbs up if you did, thumbs down if you didn't, and let me know in the comments where I can improve. If you've got this far and you like what you see, please consider subscribing. Hit the subscribe button and notification bell, and you'll get timely reminders of when I post a video up next. But thank you all for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.